guests today. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We are today with Marthe and Arnaud, who are respectively Product Analytics Lead and Head of Product at Backmarket. Thank you so much, guys, for being with us. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm very excited about today's talk about self-serve data for product people. We all know that building a product while being blind on data is a true nightmare. I feel I'm not wrong on that. So I'm very happy we covered this topic with you guys today. I'll let you present yourself in a few minutes, but before that, for those who do not know better, it's the tool we are using right now. So on the left-hand side of your screen, you have a chat button. So please use the chat to ask all the questions you have. I'll be moderating the discussion. You can also use the Q button if you want to raise your hand and directly come ask your question or add a comment. Okay, so don't hesitate. As usual, don't be shy. Ask your questions, share your challenges. We really want this conversation to be a conversation more than just a talk. So please interrupt us, ask your questions, okay? Okay, so we are all good. Marthe, Arnaud, I give you the mic. The floor is all yours, okay? Who wants to start?
Let me share. Can you all see the screen?
Cool. Yes, it's good.
Ooh. It's up to you. Huh?
So I'm super happy to be there. Just presenting myself quickly. I'm Marthe. I'm 32 and I'm living in Barcelona. I've been in data for 6 years now, and basically from consulting in marketing to consulting inside the company like VP, and then moving to products 4 years ago. And discovered this whole world, super amazing. So for 4 years, I've been working for products, and especially for almost 2 years, I've been working in Backmarket as a product analyst and then leads of the team, where I helped build the team and the transversal stack for the team. So I'm happy to share with you some insights tonight.
Thank you, Marthe. And I'm Arnaud. I'm Marthe's colleague, happy colleague. I'm the head of product for Backmarket. I'm working on the customer journey tribe. We are divided into several tribes. I'm leading the tribe that takes care of the B2C experience for buying and reselling electronic devices. Before that, I was working in e-commerce and products at Mano Mano, in B2B as well for Smart City in a small startup called QSit. And before that, I was not in the field of product at all because I was working for academic research in different universities and institutions. But I've always been very keen on data. And that was the bridge between the two jobs.
Cool.
So today we are going to talk about data for product managers. Your data is served. How can we make data accessible for product managers to extract insights, take the best decisions possible, communicate on those decisions, and get alignment. So I'm just going to start about the context at Backmarket to give you the history and why I joined Backmarket 1 year ago. For those who don't know the company, Backmarket is a mission company. It's a legal status. We have a mission company around sustainability. We want to save tech devices through circularity. So it means selling refurbished devices, helping people resell also their old devices so that we can refurbish them, repair old devices to give them a second life. So yeah, the mission is to really save the tech devices and the planet through circularity. We are about 700 people. And the important thing to know is for the context 1 year ago when we started that work with Marthe, is that the company had scaled from 100 people to 700 in a couple of years. And it completely changed the context of the company. So today we are about 60 people in the product department. and we are organized into different tribes that are organized into different groups. And within the groups, you have basically the squads with product manager, designer, developers, engineers, product analysts, and being also user researchers. But the atom is the squad, and we have groups and tribe on top of the groups. So that's for the context of the company and the organization. And why 1 year ago it was completely different. I'm going to tell you a quick story. When I arrived at Backmarket like 1 year ago, there was a team, one of the squads in the tribe. They struggled to make very simple experiments. You are on an e-commerce website, Backmarket, you want to move a block on the product page to show product recommendations. And the hypothesis was, if we show product recommendations higher on the page, people that are looking for something else, it would be easier for them to find another product for them. And they struggled to launch this test in just one country when we are based in 20 countries. It took 1 month to measure. And in the end, they realized that, whoa, it does increase the number of conversions by plus 2-3%. And that's huge for our business because we have 30 million users per month. So we just realized, but can we multiply such experiments for the business and the product? How can we improve the user experience? How can we make the data and such experiments scalable as the company grows? And it was really the trigger around giving access to the data to the product teams so that they can experiment quickly, learn quickly, take decisions, and measure the impact. So that was really the COMEX. And in the meantime, 1 year ago, the COMEX had decided to move to a, let's say, marketing-driven company to a product-driven company. They hired a CPO who was part of the COMEX, whereas previously the squads were under the CTO. And it also changed the culture inside the company from something more business-centric and marketing-centric to a product company. And it's also changed the spirit where there were a lot of very quick tests, quick and dirty with growth hacking, to having something more principled for scalability. So that's for the context. Don't know if you have any question about that. Otherwise, Marthe will also explain at that time what were the exact pain points due to this context about the data.
Do you have any question? If not, I will follow on that. So you've seen it. As Arnaud said, it was like a growth hacking spirit before. And with that, the growth hacking tools in place. So the main tools we had at that time were very marketing centric. We were using, just for the information, Google Analytics for performance, Content Square for user behavior and qualitative insights, and A/B testing for A/B tests. Those tools, and Arnaud already gave you some insights about the limitation we had, were super adapted for this marketing-centric growth hacking spirit. But for products, a new product mindset, there was much more limitations. First one is Google Analytics is an e-commerce-centric analytics tools, and it's based on sessions, whereas in product, the mindset, if you have not an e-commerce transactional squad, for example, so we have in Backmarket, for example, a squad called Buyback. It's where you can sell back your phone, so it's not a traditional e-commerce one you can have in any transactional websites. And this one was not couldn't be analyzed in GA, just for that reason, because the steps were not in GA, in Google Analytics. Also, those tools, there was a bit biased. Arnaud told it. In product, we developed on a worldwide basis. Like, we don't develop per country. We are a centralized team, so we need centralized tools. And every tools we had were split by country or platforms, like web with web, app with app, and country, all countries. So to consolidate all this data and have just one concrete pages, and it took also lots of skills that were not in the end of a product manager. So super time-consuming and difficult. And also, we had some performance issue of this stack because all this stack was based in front. And we had 3 tools that were using our performance in terms of web perfs, meaning it was super impactful when loading a page. And following that also, as the A/B tests were set up in front, we had lots of issue of flickering, like users where they landed while they were the time given for the page to load, they were given the first version of A/B test and then the version they were in. So it was super big bias in our analysis of tests. And also the setup of this test, I will say it was very growth hacking. It was a bit the legacy of the startup mindset. So we had some repartition bias in our tests because back in the time, when it was set up like without a proper AA test to test the tool and to adapt it to it. So all in all, you have it in the slide, data was a nightmare for PM, but also for data analysts, but for PM above all. So what we did, next slide, please, is first one, we had to set up the basis. We had to set up the foundations. And the foundations was like first make this data accessible. And you will see before, after what we did, we had to do as second step. Make it accessible first, make it, drive it back to the, we said it was a marketing mindset, we drive it back a bit more in the product mindset. So we had that have now data analysts in every group. So it's below the tribe. We have in every group we have a data analyst dedicated to products, but also we take back the ownership of the governance of the tracking, so the data we track, because before it was owned by marketing, so now it's owned by product. So we are owner of all the data value chain from tracking to analysis. And if we have any issue, we are able to identify it quite quickly. So just it's accessible and easy for squads. And what we did above all is what we implemented a user-centric analytics tools, different from the GA tool, which is more session-centric, I would say, and performance-centric. It's super for marketing, but less for products. And this tool, it's Amplitude, but it can be others. It can be Mixpanel, Adobe, HIP. There are lots of user behavior tools used in digital analytics. And what does those tools do mainly is first they allow to have a cross-country, cross-device information to cross everything because it's based on the user and not on a specific implement platform. It's also behavioral in the way we can analyze data. It's more ad hoc. You can visualize any funnel you have, like any transactional or not transactional funnel you have. So you can visualize anything. Whereas in the more classical tools, it's very, as I said, e-commerce biased, and so that it's self-service. So if you want to run a specific analysis on a specific KPI, you just can do it, and it's super intuitive for even not analyst profile. So it was the purpose behind it, was to help product manager. So this, above all, also helped us. I said we had A/B testing and Content Square, and it helped us to merge these two tools into one because we were able to analyze both our A/B test and our user behavior following that or during that. So at the same place, so meaning an improvement also of perf at this level, and how we how did we do to make sure that we implement it, but it's useful for the teams. It's that we based the implementation on use cases. So a problem, an issue identified in the product that we want to tackle. So we don't track everything on the website, like we track issues. I want to understand that, okay, we track your use case and we answer this with tracking and you are able to analyze it. And we did that in all the squads. So from the platform team, I would say, from the basics to all the squads. And this spreads, like in terms of culture, quite quickly. And this was also a good way to train people.
So quick question for you, Marthe. How did you make the choice to go with Amplitude more than another tool at this moment? Were there any specific criteria you were looking for, or?
We were looking actually, so versus other tool in the same field. To be honest, more difficult to answer, but versus other tools that we had in the past, because we had, for example, Content Square. It was like the choice we did for Amplitude. It was first because it allowed us to have a cross-platform view, which was not possible in the other tool we had, and also it allowed us to add A/B test. And maybe I can give some hints about the selection versus other tools like Amplitude or Adobe or HIP. It's more personal. I had experience with it. And it's super intuitive. I already worked with it with other product managers in my former company, Domestika, before being in Backmarket. And it's like super intuitive to allow you to build very quickly dashboards without any help from a specific things. And also they are releasing features every month. So we are every time you have an issue that you can't answer with the proper tool now, they are putting it on their the roadmap and improving. So it's a super powerful tool, to be honest.
Sounds good. Cool. Thanks.
And maybe passing the mic back to Arnaud for the step 2.
It's my turn, Marthe. So integrated A/B stack. So just to be sure, let me check my notes. Okay, so the first step was to lay down the right tool, Amplitude for product analytics. The second one was to help people perform experiments on the website. I want to launch a new feature. I want to change the copy of a block text. I want to change maybe the color of a button. All these experiments on an e-commerce website that can have huge impacts when you have traffic. Like Backmarket, again, I told that we have about 30 million users per month, and even a small increase of 1% of user going to the next step of the funnel can be a game changer for such a business. So it's really also where A/B testing and product analytics became powerful for us. It was not at the early stage where you don't have enough data to measure 1%, 2% changes in your funnels, but you try like more game changer, like completely new experience, and you measure before, after, and you can measure like uplift time 2 or time 3 the volume. Here it's really when you scale to be able to incrementally measure optimization. So order of magnitude is around 1, 2, 3%. It doesn't mean we don't innovate anymore. For example, we currently have a new onboarding flow on the mobile application, and this new onboarding flow does increase the opt-in to push. It does increase the rate to push opt-in by three times more than before. So that we can measure before, after. But for all the other smaller experiments, you need a kind of microscope to zoom in and really check if it makes a difference or not. So that was really the context of integrating our A/B test stack. And as Marthe told, with A/B testing previously, it was not implemented on our side in a compelling way to scale. So what we decided is to internalize most of the developments. We still used a vendor solution for drawing the pools of the A/B test. Maybe I should just recall what's an A/B test. Maybe not everyone knows what's an A/B test, but basically, when you have traffic landing on your website, you separate the traffic into two groups: half of the users will grow in group A and the other half will go in group B. And you show a slightly different experience to the two groups. And you measure for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks how they behave. And for example, on an e-commerce website, you will double check, is group A buying more than group B, or the converse? On another product, it can be another metric, of course, that you follow and monitor. But basically, you define your metric of interest and you compare a slight change of experience between two groups and which one of the two groups performs better for your group. And so we really needed this at this time to be able to understand how the evolutions we make on the product perform for the business. So to draw the groups for the user, when you land on the website, to decide if you are in group A or group B, we are working with a solution called CloudBees. And it's really like a random generator that attributes the traffic to one of the either group. We can do other things with CloudBees, for example, specify countries where we want to launch an A/B test if we don't want to launch worldwide. We can have rules. We have a clear user interface to launch a test, to pause, to resume, to stop a test. Also, what it does, if the users come back to the website, they keep track of it so that you're always in the same group. You don't want user to be in group A, and when they come back to the website 2 days after to show to be in group B, because it would bias the test. So CloudBees takes care of that, but how we integrated it was different from A/B Testy, who was also doing all the analysis parts. We decided to plug the groups drawn by CloudBees to Amplitude, so that we can really take the most out of Amplitude. All the analytics we can do in Amplitude, we are now able to separate the analysis between group A and group B for all the product analytics that are tracked in Amplitude. So it's really powerful for that, because we can really deep dive into that. So this is how we implemented the step 2, and it was, how did it go at Backmarket, actually? Because it's a very transversal project. To launch that very practically, we had to talk to the COMEX and have a sponsored, so the CTO of Backmarket sponsored the project. We had to make a kind of business case to prove the ROI of implementing that versus the former stack. And after negotiating, the COMEX said, okay, you can create a task force with internal employees in the company. So we had the developers from the security team, for the platform team, front-end engineers, back-end engineers that joined the task force. And in 4 months, we implemented this stack. But it's really important to understand that it's not like in the company with 700 people like Backmarket. It was not like in a wing. It was, we had to negotiate resources, bandwidth from other teams, make a case study with business ROI of the solution, and so on. So it was a big project at that time for Backmarket, but the results really paid off. So in the end, we draw the A/B testing pools with CloudBees. We send all the information to Amplitude, where we analyze the results of the test. And very recently, we did a last integration, because Amplitude is really good to measure analytics on the product. But for an e-commerce company like Backmarket, you also have data that lives outside of the product. For the support, the seller data, their sales, the price, etc., they live in databases, data warehouses. For Backmarket, it's into BigQuery. For some people, it's Snowflake. For some companies, Backmarket is BigQuery. And the last step we did to integrate fully the A/B testing stack is to connect the Amplitude data and BigQuery, so that we are able to connect the business data in the data warehouse with the product data in Amplitude. I will give you a very simple example. Very recently on the website, we clarified to the users the simple value proposition. Previously, we were not able to guarantee free returns in case of an issue. So sometimes customer had to pay for the return. And now with a new business unit we have, and we have developed customer care, special value proposition for them. customers are able to send back a package freely. And we wanted to promote that on the website so that it drives more trust and reassurance for the customers. So basically, we changed the message, very simple, to 30 days to change your mind. We changed that message to 30 days free return. It seems very simple, right? But it did increase the conversion rates. We had about +1% of sales on the website, but we were also afraid that by marketing the message like that it would generate far more returns to the customer service, and that the cost would be too high for the customer support team. So we were able to connect the data from the two groups with the data in the data warehouse, so in BigQuery, and we measured that it did increase the number of returns, unfortunately, but it was largely compensated by the increase in sales. So all in all, it was positive for the business.
Right. Cool. Thank you so much. And we have a question from Maxime. Maxime is asking, what is your equivalent of segment before sending your data to Amplitude?
Yeah, we don't have. It's internal. Maybe Marthe, you want to talk about Google?
Yeah, we don't have segments, but we do have an agnostic tracking. Like we track events on an agnostic way, like in every pages, and we push to Amplitude or to Google Tag Manager, because we still have Google for marketing purpose, and we push to Amplitude. So no, we don't have segments.
Okay, cool. So Maxime, does that answer your question, or do you want to? Yep. Cool. Thanks. Good.
Like customer data platform tools are powerful, like in early stage companies, because you increase your time to market drastically. You have, for those who don't know, CDPs, customer data platforms, it's a kind of a hub. You connect your tracking to the customer data platform, and the customer data platform, they have developed native integrations with hundreds of existing tools. So once you've done the integration once, you connect any tool partner you want to work with, Braze for CRM, Amplitude for tracking, GA, etc. You can plug like hundreds of tools behind. And so you have only to do the tracking once for the CDP. It's also powerful because it checks the data before. So the thing for a company like Backmarket is the CDPs did not exist or were not so widespread when the company was created, and they had already developed internally all the connectors and stuff, and it's really costly to break everything and rebuild from scratch the CDP. It could take like more money that the CDP gives. So it's always a difficult decision for scale-ups that are like 5-6 year old.
Right. Cool, thanks. And we have a question from our friend Clément. Clément, give you the mic.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. We actually are thinking to implement Amplitude in our company. It's Scaleway, by the way. And it's funny because I was just pinged on the conversation about the A/B testing capacity of Amplitude, and my colleagues were wondering what are the best connector integrator to make it happen. So I obviously listed the solution that you mentioned, but maybe I will direct them to you to ask more questions if they are pursuing that. Actually, I have another question because my role is actually product operation and on data. So we have started to set up a foundation to be able to gather and collect data from our product. We have like so we are building our own product. It's not B2B, it's B2C type of product. So it's a bit I would say like we cannot do web analytics. So it's like usage analytics type of thing. So it was already hard from a tech perspective to get into the database, whatever its details. Now we have the technical solution. We kind of like follow your path on having a product analytics person dedicated to each squad, but we have like more than 20 equal squads, so we obviously don't have 20 product data analysts. Obviously, in terms of cost, it's not reasonable. But sorry, this is a long introduction to arrive to my question, but how do you kind of like manage to stay, let's say, aligned on the definition of the different indicators that you might use in the different groups? What are kind of like your rituals to keep the different tribes and groups like aligned into the vision on the best way to use the data? Yeah, is there like I guess maybe Marthe, it's your role to make sure that these groups don't start to make use case like they want, and then they don't, really think through like what is the overall vision in terms of data analytics. So I kind of like just wanted to see a little bit more like what is your governance around the product data analytics.
Yep. First is we don't have a data analyst per squad, but per group. So it's less. Like we have a lot of squads, but we have much less groups. So we have a tribe called customer journey, where we have 3 groups, so 3 analysts. And then for the other tribes that are more B2B, where we have less needs, we'd say, in terms of analytics, it's the analyst of customer journeys that are dedicated to a part of it. So we are like so far 4 analysts in the team, so we're huge. And the objective is also to enable PM, so it's not to take that, like to duplicate also. For governance, it's a good question. It's also, you will see after, an opening topic for us. It's not an open topic as we are growing. For now, what we do is I am managing the governance, like not myself, but we are a super close team and we discuss a lot. And we have guidelines among the team. So in terms of tracking, we have very clear guidelines, and those guidelines were shared across also front dev and dev. And so for now, we don't have such an issue in terms of governance, but we are taking care of it because, again, this is one of the risks of growing. And also, for the governance, we put lots of alertings in place to make sure that no one is launching a tracking in prod without at least someone being aware of it. And also we have technical checks through Amplitude, because Amplitude allows to do alerts, and we have technical alerts. So we are able to know if someone is launching a tracking on something else anywhere on the website. So it's super powerful because it allows us to very quickly to identify the team and ask if an analyst was in charge of it or not. And if there is like what was the purpose and what was the objective of it. Because also it's our way also to manage cost, because as you might know, these kind of tools are also costly because we pay by volume of tracking. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, actually, yes. And sorry if I'm keeping a bit the time on the question. Do you combine Amplitude with other tracking tools, such as because I guess Amplitude is not for turnover or for like maybe overall chiffre d'affaires type of data, right? It's more really web based.
Yeah. There is a big topic behind, it's GDPR, but we will not talk about it today. But actually, it's all the tools that are front tracking or based on the cookies. We have the GDPR aspect, so we can't track, as you said, turnover or revenue or anything, because it will not be that accurate. We track it, but we don't use it as a follow-up of our business. So we track. So we track in back office, like on server side, the main KPIs we can have. But so for that we use we have our own tracking, but also we have still Google Analytics, because it's for now it's the main tool for marketing purpose. Like Amplitude is not able to answer all marketing purpose, like Google is not able to answer all the product purpose. So there's still this need, and as we are B2C, and also we rely a lot on paid, and we need to rely a lot on Google for that, and follow Google. So we still have it. So using that, we still have Google Tag Manager, which is a tool used to track Google, and so we are trying to deal with all these things with a very straight positioning. Like all the main KPIs are in Google Analytics, and all the ad hoc products and also main KPIs, because we need them, are in Amplitude. But for super deep analysis purpose, we use Amplitude, and for follow-up of business and marketing investment, it's Google. I hope this answers your question too.
Cool. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks, Clément. I suggest we move to the next part. Sian, I have your question in mind. I keep it for the QA section.
Yes. So the first step of all our work on making data accessible to product manager is the last one, is like make sure that we have a product data culture on it. So first, we needed a very good sponsor, and our CPO is the best for that. She is very data oriented, and she really helped us a lot to make data the priority for the teams. So, and make sure that data is at the heart of the decision-making process. So it's cool. But again, to help that, we did lots of things to help nurture this data culture. First one is following the launch of Amplitude and the launch of the A/B test stack, we did a lot of trainings. Also, we created, like with different levels and different types of people. Also, we created what we call the Amplitude chapter. It's a chain where, like, the idea is, as a product analyst, we are not in charge of the ticketing or the support on this tool. Like, we are all part of it. So if you're a user, you are able to answer the question in this chain. And the idea is to make it the most insightful possible. Also, we did a lot of communication on our projects using Amplitude, like the use case, the analysis we did, and also the A/B test. And it was like, the idea was to make sure that this tool is not like one among other tools, which cost a lot and is not used. It's not the purpose. It was really to make it used. And that was from start, we base our tracking on use case because we need it to be used. And we make sure that you use it at the end. So that's the idea. And so far, it's working quite well.
And talking about the training part, how did you manage that, guys? Like, was it maybe, I don't know, like a few hours training per teams, or did you train like kind of advocates on each teams? How did you work on that?
So for the trainings, we started with the foundational ones, first with all the PMs and other teams in the company. But for the product part, it was that. And as we have a product analyst in each main groups, product analysts were the relay to that, and they did specific oriented training. So the first foundational one was mainly on the main use case around product or main tools you can use in Amplitude. And the more oriented one were very impactful because super answering questions that there were really an issue in the squad. And it was made by someone who was expert in the squad. So it was a mix of both.
Right. And talking about product data culture, I assume it's a new way of working. Did you have to motivate people to adopt this new culture, or did you face any reluctance sometimes, or how was it?
I've been working in product for in some companies, and I've been the main pain point is make developers fond of tracking, which is really hard. And to be honest, what was cool in Backmarket was I told about the sponsorship of our CPO, but also what's cool is that we are able with this kind of tool to prove to devs that their work is useful. So they understand that the tracking is not tracking for someone in the company, I don't know for what, for who, because it was the case already in the past with marketing. In the past, the organization was, developer was implemented tracking, and we had in marketing tracking team that was linking the tracking to GTM, and the data was consumed in marketing. So they were never seeing the output of what they were doing.
Right.
Here it's super, like it's super cool because they see it, so they like more fond of it. I will not say it's the best thing they like in their job, but at least they are not reluctant to add tracking. And this, to have been in 3 different companies working with devs and implementing tracking, like it's kind of a win for me.
Cool. Brilliant. Cool.
I can dabble on this. It's not the funniest part of that job, but we succeeded with this ownership, decentralizing the tracking in the squads so that they are able to measure their own impact. It closes the loop. So it's really product is business. Like they know now, are aware, they are now aware of what they do, what's the impact on the revenue for the company. We present that. We have weekly business reviews with the COMEX and business leaders. And now we have a dedicated section for A/B tests in the business review too, where we show the impact. And for an e-commerce company, it's easy. You say, like yesterday, out of 100 people, just one of them was buying. Today, it's 1.1 on average. Well, they can easily do the math and go to revenue to see in dollars what it means. So it's really powerful also as a tool to communicate the impact of the product team and squads to the COMEX, for the developers, engineers to feel empowered and have the sense of ownership about their impact on the real world end users. So that was really powerful. And the last thing that is maybe a testimonial of how it worked is that this year, in the 4 main company OKRs, the first one is dedicated to A/B testing to increase the conversion rate of the website. So even there was a mindset and cultural shift for the whole company because the COMEX sponsored that OKR. So it's really cool, yeah.
Cool. Cool, guys.
And maybe I did not a funny fact, but just a fact on this is that sometimes even developers are following the A/B test results in Amplitude. They are like right after launching their A/B test, super keen on knowing if it's worked or not. So it's super cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I feel it reduced the gap between like developers and business outcomes, actually measuring why they're working on. So yeah, it's cool.
Even play. There's one squad. They invented a game. They bet on what will be the impact of this test.
Love it.
And they put bets, and there's a winner.
Okay, love it. There is a new feature to implement on Amplitude, the bet one, the bet game. Cool. Cool, thank you.
We can maybe go to the last section about.
Yep, let's go.
Yeah. So okay. So just to summarize, we show the 3 steps to scale and evangelize the data culture at Backmarket. First, sound product analytics. Second, integrated A/B testing. And third, acculturation. Still, we are not finished. We have still some work to do. The A/B testing stack has less than a year, and we have some shortcomings. For example, we are limited in the number of tests we can run in parallel because it does impact the web performance, and we don't want the website to take ages to load. Otherwise, users are really disappointed by that and they would leave. Also, it's bad for SEO indexing because robots measure the loading speed of the website. So today we have limitations about the number of tests we can run in parallel, but we are about to leverage that limitation soon. So that's one of the challenges when you launch a stack for A/B testing and product analytics at scale is the performance still. Also, the scope of what we can test. For example, we can easily test on the e-commerce website the product page, the checkout funnel, but we have some pages that are not developed. The code base is outside in a CMS, a content management system. For example, the home page is in an external tool where you can move easily the blocks, change the content, change the illustrations, the wording in a content management system. And this content management system is not connected to the A/B testing stack, so we cannot easily test changes on the homepage. For example, we have a design system at Backmarket, and for almost the last 8 months, we were not able to test a change in a component of the design system because the design system was out of the stack where we had implemented the A/B testing. That one's just been solved like 2 days ago. So now we are able to A/B test 2 variations of a component in the design system, for example. And the last limitation is that we have is Amplitude is really self-service, but still the business data that's in BigQuery, you have to be an expert to get insights from that. So we are having a POC with Metabase right now to help people access more easily the data from the business side and also understand what's outside of the products. We also have a tool called Castor that helps people understand how the tables in BigQueries are related from each other, what are the different fields and stuff. So we are putting other tools in place to also help bridge the gap with the data in BigQuery so that we can think holistically between the product data in Amplitude and the business data in BigQuery. And I think, Marthe, you had 2 other things you wanted to mention in the challenges as well.
Yeah, like for the coming, at least on the product analytics team, we have big challenges. Arnaud told you about the limitation we have in current test, but it's about to be stopped. And one of the OKR of the tech team, so the developers, is to be able to run hundreds of tests in parallel. What we did at the beginning in the strategy and also the vision of A/B test is to say that each A/B test, as it is costly, need to be useful. We need to make sure that it's insightful. By that I mean you can run hundreds of A/B tests, but if you only say I release my feature if the A/B test is positive, okay. But if it's not positive, I just forget about it, just because I have not enough people to analyze or go deeper. The vision we had behind was not that. We wanted to make sure that every A/B test is useful. And so if we go to hundreds, we are not hundreds in the team, you know it. So we have to make sure that we have a relay, we have people. So it's the next step of self-service. It's being able to analyze, but analyze with like bringing value to your A/B test. So not, for example, if your target KPIs, it's conversion rate, just not look at conversion rate, positive, negative. It's positive, it's fine. If it's negative, forget about it. We want to make sure that people are able to deep dive their own tests. And this is a big point for us, and it will be one of the challenges for the coming months. Another one, and we already discussed about it quickly, is the governance. If we open up to lots of people, we have topics about pricing, transversability, make sure that one tracking is not killing another one, make sure that we have consistency in the namings, that anybody is able to access and so on. So also a big one for us on that.
Cool. Thank you so much, guys. I'm just conscious about the time. I will raise the question from Sian. And guys, if you have other questions, please don't hesitate to drop them on the chat or take the mic. The question from Sian is the following one. Do you have an example of when data for a new product has not been available on your self-serve tools, and how you navigate that.
Sorry, just for clarification, new product is a new feature or new squad?
I think Sian is mentioning new feature. For example, Sian, if you're still here, do you want to take the mic or to specify your question?
Yes, it was more specifically to do with a new feature that you're adding that doesn't have tracking to it yet.
Yeah, it happens a lot. Less now, but it happened a lot. Now, specifically in tribes that are not covered with a specific dedicated 100% time data analyst. So sometimes we missed. Sometimes we managed to do it after the launch, so we are still able to gather insights. And the lucky thing we have is that we have a lot of history, because the mindset behind Google Analytics in the past was to track everything, and especially in the app. So we have lots of data in terms of history. So if we do launch something, we might have already some data that could allow us to compare with past or something like that. If we change like a feature that was already existing for ages and we change it with a new one, we might be able to do that. But it happens sometimes that we are still blind and are not able to track. And with that, what we do is at least try to do before-after analysis or this kind of super biased analysis with lots of at least making sure that we don't overestimate impacts. But that's also why we are working on being able to increase a lot this limit of A/B test, because we want to be able to track any new launch and to report the incremental value of it.
Cool. I hope it's helpful for you, Sian. So we have another question from Margot. Do you have clear documentation on all of your analytics events that you track?
It's a good one, this one. It's a debate. It's a super big debate, because I've been in tracking in 3 different companies, and it's always a debate. My personal point of view, but it's personal, and we don't have a super detailed tracking documentation. Why? It's because for like tracking documentation, it's always followed in a J-sheet, not updated, and when you look at it, you don't find what you're looking for. What we base our insights are the Amplitude plugin in Chrome. Is like you do the action on the website or on the app, and you will see right after if what you want to know is tracked, and it's saving for everybody lots of hours. So it's sometimes like people who don't know the existence of this plugin would say, okay, I don't know, I will go to the J-sheet and so on. And also another thing is that in Amplitude you have a new data tool that allows also to have a view on the tracking plan. So it's automatized, because in the past, when we were just putting tracking in a file, not updating, it was taking ages and hours for an analyst. And actually, it's not super impactful hours. It's very useless hours. So that's why we decided not to take the time for that.
Thank you so much, Marthe. Hope it helps, Margot. And we are right on time. Congratulations, guys. Thank you so much to both of you. I love the discussion. I hope it was very helpful for you guys. I know it was a burning topic to you, Clément. So can't wait to have the discussion and debrief about what you learned. Thank you so much again. I wish you all a very good evening, and we see you again next Wednesday on a new Panache Talk. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Bye, everyone. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you.